All right, all right. Guess who's back? Your boy Ivan to bring you our update right here at Ivy's Hoops, the Fantasy Salary Cap Edition update. Today we are going to merge two game days. That's game day 4 and game day 3. We had a couple of games that went on at that time, and we shall be looking at those interesting stuff. So jumping right into the recap of game day 3. We had two games on that day. We had Oklahoma City Thunders taking on Indiana Pacers, and Oklahoma, it was a thriller. It took them into double overtime, and OKC became the first team in NBA history to go into double overtime for the first two games of the season. So it was awesome, and of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander dropped 55 points. AJ Mitchell, the new rookie, showing up. This is a guy that I'm definitely going to add in my squad. Speaking about that, I am triggering my wild card. Actually, it's already triggered. I had to reshape my squad because of so many variables. I wasn't able to pick the best players because of the backroom changes that happened during off-season, and of course the transfers that happened as well, the back office, and then all the changes that change and of course affect the squads. Of course, looking at the pricing, I was using the points of last season, and of course it has an impact on this season because you cannot, okay, you could, because trends tend to be the same all through and through, but this time around they were not. So I picked not so good squad, and you will see the averages that I've been making. I only managed to be above average for the first two game days, and the last two game days I wasn't able to be above average. So henceforth I've triggered my wild card so early in the season, but it's necessary, otherwise I will have a terrible season. Another thing I'm triggering the wildcard this early in the season is because I'm targeting the original prices of these players, because price changes are going to happen at the end of this game week, and I do not want to miss out on that. So I hope the background music is not so loud. Yeah, Mothering in this game, Mothering he fouled out, and I think a couple of more players in the Indiana Pacers fouled out in this game. They were not able to finish, so they had to go to the bench, and of course this helped OKC to run away with this game. All right, then on the night we also had Denver Nuggets taking on Golden State Warriors, which would be the first game of their back-to-back games. And of course, Al Horford showed up in this game, but he wasn't going to be able to play the next game because of the age, of course. So he didn't show up in tonight's game, but on this day, on Friday, he actually played. And of course, Aaron Gordon was a revelation. It was a revelation. Someone actually could consider, because he shot, I think, his own this time round. He was shooting threes like crazy. I think he had 11 threes from downtown. So, and of course, Nicola, consistent, managed to score his 60 piece there, points there. But the three wasn't falling in this game, unfortunately for him. He shot, but it wasn't falling for some reason I cannot understand also. Yeah, so that was it on Friday. There were just two games. Then just tonight, shortly after, we've just concluded. I hope you were able to field your 5. Yeah, so me, I wasn't able to field 5 in this game week, which is terrible. That's why I'm actually triggering I did field a couple, but they were terrible scores. All right, so here we have had Antetokounmpo, and of course also Anthony is a very good pick if you can get him into your squad. Giannis Antetokounmpo managed to drop 31 points in that game. Brandon Ingram taking shape in his new squad. He wants to be the lead man right there, but of course we know RJ Barrett is the main man in that squad. But yeah, there are some good players you can get from there. So for Atlanta Hawks, uh, Young Young finally led his team to the first win, and unfortunately, Porzingis wasn't able to play. I think he's out ill with an illness, so that is also another reason for why I'm triggering the wild card this early. Then Franz Wagner with 27 points right there, managing to score 40 points. The rule that I'm going to give you guys is if you're building your squad, make sure that the people that you're building your squad now, for my case, it is around Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. So the average score that they should be giving you every time they play should be 55 points. If you do not have a player that is giving you 55 points, I'm saying not 55 gameplay points, but 55 fantasy points. Yeah, that's what I mean. 55 fantasy points. And you know, I've taken you guys through how to count these. We know it's each point they score on court. That is that is 1 point. So if a player scores 20 points, that's 20 points scored in fantasy. Then of course they add their rebounds. That still also counts for 1. So that's the points they have scored plus their rebounds. You add that. Then if they make a steal is times 3. If they make a block, that's also times 3. They make an assist, that's times 2. So those are the fantasy points I'm saying. So the people, the core that you're building your squad around should be able to earn you 55 points per game day that they play. If they are not, you need to reconsider them. All right. So the Cavaliers also managed to get their first win. Donovan Mitchell showing up with 56 points right there. Then Kevin Porter Jr. also as well. I think he's now in gear. He started terribly with 26 points. Now he has 48 points. As saying that the Denver Nuggets they actually did make a good move. I believe they did make a good move because it was a hefty salary that they were giving, and it was putting them in a red zone in as far as the salary caps go. All right, then of course Boston Celtics couldn't handle the New York Knicks. Branson and Kyle Anthony Towns and crew were on point. 44 points for Branson right there, and Kyle Anthony Towns 51 points right there. All right, then Kader is among the guys I was considering for my wild card, but fortunately not. All right, then Memphis were beaten soundly this time round, and of course, Jean Morant wasn't able to show up in this one. Bam Adebayo with 40 points right there, 24 in the game, 40 points generally. Where this is a guy you could consider is a utility player if you really, because his price is just 8.5, which is good for you if you need a utility player. Ja wasn't able to show up this time round. He only managed to rack up 26 points, and in the game he only made 12 points. Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. Then Powell, I was actually encouraging guys because he had 50 points in the first game. Second game, 29 points, which is really low, which is really alarmingly low. So maybe not on Powell. He managed to get 15 points on the night, but they managed to beat the Memphis Grizzlies 146 to 114. Then comes the big boys. This was a must-watch, people. 4-point difference between the winner and the loser. 120 to 116. The San Antonio Spurs managed to beat New Orleans Pelicans, and of course Wembenyama was crazy on the night. 74 points racked up. I'm going to ask you, Zion Williams shredded. This is Zion Williams 2.0. He's back to play, he's back to ball. And I do believe, and I can encourage you to build around him. He's consistently high, 60, 61 points, you see? Consistently high. So I would encourage you to build around him. He's actually very good. Jordan Poole, not so much. Well, Victor Wembanyama, I would definitely encourage you guys to build around him. Then here comes the revelation. I have this boy. I'm bringing him into my squad. Or as we go on, by the I'm going to ask you, go right ahead in the comment section. You can let us know who you think is the player of the day. Player of the day. And of course, as you see the recap, you can also tell, you can actually guess who the player of the day is. So Keishan Jan there managed to score 68 points. I'm bringing him in. He's actually in already. I had to get rid of Davis. I think they are still jailing as a team. And I know as the season goes on, his risk of becoming injured also goes higher. So Keishon is in my team. Middleton, not so much anymore, people. You can stay away from him. I think his age is catching up with him. Yeah. Then the LA Lakers look unable to actually have the highlights of this one. Was unable to get the points. He was actually left in by the manager right there in garbage time in fourth quarter, hoping that he can pull off a 50 piece. But unfortunately, I think he was too tired. He was actually tired. You could see because he was fouled. Okay, they left him in, and you could guess that the ball was going to Lucas so that he makes the 50 piece and then they take him out. This was around 4 minutes towards the end, and he was beat. He was tired and exhausted. So he tried to move in. He was fouled on a shot. It was a mid-range shot. It bounced out, so he had to go on the free shot line. Free shots. He missed one. He scored one, and everybody was laughing. We were like, "No, really, you have to come out at this point." Then, of course, they called a timeout, and he had to step out to a standing ovation. It was a really good game for him. 49 points right there. He managed to rack up, it was a double-double for him. He managed to rack up 11 rebounds and 8 assists, which was really, really good. And of course, on the other side, for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Edwards managed to rack up 31 points for his team, 4 rebounds and 5 assists. He was assisted by Rando. Rando was actually good in the game, but of course it wasn't enough. What he was giving wasn't enough for the team to be able to overcome the Lakers. Rando managed to score 26 points, 9 assists, nearly a double-double, 44. Another guy that had a double-double was on Luca's team. That was Reeves. Reeves had 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 11 assists. Hachimura actually showed up in this game. Hachimura was on fire from deep. He managed to score 2 3-pointers. Luka on the night managed to score 5 3-pointers. Actually, he scored the most 3-pointers in the game. Rando, the one I was telling you, also managed to rack up 4 3-pointers in that game. So you could see he tried, but Anthony Edwards managed to get 3 3-pointers. Then you could see that the Lakers are actually jailing because Ayton was actually jailing with the players very, very well. Ayton on the night managed to score 15 points. There is Luka, as you can see, that was one of the threes, one of the big boy shots from deep. He racked up 5 threes in the game. Attempting 12, managed to make 5 of the 12 that he shot. Luka on fire. This is the season. This is the best time to get Luka in. And I'm going to mention this because I was watching Harlem, the commentators. Harlem had Wade and the lady from the WNBA. And they were mentioning about how on the sidelines, of course, LeBron was on the bench with his whatever he was putting on. And these specs that he has, not specs, they are sunglasses, indoor sunglasses. That's weird. Anyway, he was on the bench with his son, and they were saying that once he comes back, they will be this great team and all that. Quote me, that man slows down the Lakers. He slows down the team. He's done. He's done. They should just let him go. Let him retire. Let him go to China or the USA or whatever. And let him retire because I have him. He has once said after losing a game, it's just a game. Who would say that? You would never hear such a thing from Mamba, Black Mamba. You cannot hear that from Kobe. You would not never hear that from the GOAT, MJ, because they had that mentality. You have to win. It was called the alpha mentality, which LeBron lacks. All those guys played in the dunk contest. LeBron has avoided the dunk contest like as if it's a plague. He's not that good. And if you're to see his on and off, the Lakers lose points when he's playing than when he's on the bench. So that's why I'm saying people stop giving all these platitudes. Yeah, he was good, but his time is done. And let us be honest with ourselves. LeBron should just leave the Lakers, and these boys will win us titles. Anyway, enough with my rant. Back to the game. Oh, just to show you a little bit of what Luca did right there. You see, they were jailing with Aiton, and just want to show you in the final game as they left him in, so that he can score in the garbage minutes. No, at this point he's already out. Reeves was on fire on the night actually. Anyway, enough with that. Let's go back to our recap. Golden State Warriors lost this game. They had back-to-back games, and of course, we know their center had to rest. He wasn't able to play in this one. Portland Blazers were just too strong for them. Kuminga is among the players that I intend to add in. Actually, I've already added in my wildcard picks. There he is. He's averaging some good points. Around 30 points per game, which is very, very good. The Utah Jazz took on Sacramento Kings and lost. Sacramento Kings getting the win on the night by just 1 point. Larry Markkanen showing up on the night. And then, of course, Adam Levine also showing up on the night with 38 points on the night. Schroeder, okay. Schroeder is a good, consistent player. You people, if you need to get Schroeder, if you have the budget, he's a bit slightly expensive. I'm not able to bring him in myself. George is also another player that is consistent, that you can bring him to give you those good, consistent points that you might need on a game day. Then, of course, the LA Clippers finally got their first win. James Harden, I think, has started playing. In the first game, he had garbage points, but there he is. Why I'm saying garbage points is because his standard is actually 50 and 40 above. So yeah, that is the recap of the games. And looking at what we have tonight, if you're able to field, now based on my wildcard that I made, I'm able to field the top 5, but chances are you're not able to. But the next game day, you should be able to field a full squad on the night. So those are the games that we have. Chicago Bulls will be taking on Orlando Magic. Oklahoma will be back in contention, taking on Atlanta. Charlotte Hornets will be taking on 76ers. I will be looking out for that one because I have a couple of players in 76ers. That's Agecom. Then, of course, Indiana Pacers will be taking on Memphis Grizzlies. Phoenix Suns will be taking on Denver Nuggets. All right. So looking at the points, I think we already did. Just to show you, in game day 1, I was above average. The average was 97, and I had 98. Game day 2 was 151. The average, I had 160. Then it took a downward trend from there. 81, I had 77. 181, I had 154. So that's why I had to trigger my wild card. Then looking at the top players of the game day, Wembenyama with 74 points right there, closely followed by Giannis Antetokounmpo, Keishan John, Davis. I had him in my squad, so thanks to Davis, I have some good points, not as good, but good points. Zion Williams also has 50. Then on the backcourt, we had Luka with 76 points, followed by Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry, and of course, James Harden and Reeves coming right there. So in the game week, the first game week, we only have 2 game days left. That's game day 5 and game day 6. Game day 6, you most definitely should be able to field a full team. Game day 5, if you picked well, you should be able so to fix a full team. I did pick well, so I do have actually a full team. So some of the picks that I got, the 4 of these most picked players, I have them in my squad. Edgecombe, Keishan John, AJ Mitchell, and Dominic Burlow are in my squad. Then this one, the most sold ones, which I'm sure are going to actually fall in price, Gerard Butler and Dalton Connect. I have those two, so I had to let them go as well. So looking at the injury tracker, LeBron is still a ways away until next month. I hope he stays out longer because the team is only going to get better the more they play together, and they're younger and they really are hungry for titles, unlike James. Then Tatum, I think it's going to be a whole season, to be quite honest. An Achilles tendon tear, that's a doozy. It's a tough one. Then Jalen Williams, if he can stay out longer, the only problem that is anticipated to be back soon. That will affect the minutes of AJ Mitchell. But yeah, De'Aaron Fox is also out, and Tyler Hero. These are the highlights of the players that are out in the game. All right. Then looking at the squad right now and the transfers that were done, I triggered my wildcard. As you can see, it is active. And I actually shipped everyone out except Luka and Nikola Jokic. So every other player that you're seeing, with an exception of Luka and Nikola Jokic, has been replaced. So I brought in D. Burler, J. Smalls, V. Edgecombe, Mitchell. Remember Edgecombe and Mitchell, these are the rookies that I told you about. I managed to bring in Kuminga, Tyson, Keishan John, and Wemby Nyama. So at the back, I'm still big because that's my theory. I'm going big at the back. I have Wemby Nyama, I have Keishan John, I have Kuminga, and Nikola Jokic at the back. Those are my major bigs. Then at the front, I have a couple of rookies. I really hope they deliver, because as the time goes on, and we shall see. That is the plan. That is my anticipated gameplay. So let's hope things only look up going forward for us. If you can't trigger your wild card, I already made a case for that. The case is, you're looking at the pricing. You will get the players at the original prices that they came in, minus the changes that are anticipated at the end of game week 1, based on the demand and supply. The ones that have been bought will definitely go higher, and the ones that have been sold will go lower. So it will affect this budget. So that's why I made the transfers this early, so that my budget is still at 100. So if I'm to benefit, I will benefit from price rises, because I brought in some of the players that are highly sought after, that have been highly transferred into their squads. So on that end, I think it is a good and wise move to trigger your wildcard this early, because remember, we get 3 wildcards. There's one we shall get at the mid of the season and one towards the end of the season. Whereas the other chips, as we go on, I will give you tips on how to use them so that you can get the most out of them. So that basically concludes most of it. Now, on the final point, I wanted to ask you guys, who do you think was the best player of the day on the night? I'll give you a couple of time to think about it. I did mention him. He's actually in my squad. Those are the clues that I'm giving you guys to think about and see if you can guess who that is. Let's see who you can guess. Please keep the comments coming through. Let us know who you think that is. That is another clue for you. Back court, front court. Who do you think it is? Who do you think it is? Well, based on the adjudicators, The player of the day was Wembenyama yet again. He has been player of the day twice this game week. So look out and make sure that you have him in your squad. So I am definitely going to sign out at this point. See you all. It's been your boy Ivan. Peace out. Until next time, peace out.